it's Fiona here from Blooming Well at Trust Links. I'm here in my garden today to talk about compost, and we're going to do a project which you would have seen in your activity sheets about doing a compost science experiment, making compost in a bottle. Firstly, let's just talk. You're going to need a bottle. Now, a drinks bottle, 2-litre drinks bottle is probably the best because then you can actually see what's going on. But if you haven't got one of those, a milk bottle is absolutely fine. Okay, so then you're going to need some scissors, some tape, a pen, a spoon of some sort, okay, some compost or some soil, okay, some what we call brown stuff. So I've got paper here, I've got some cat fur, I've got some twigs, I've got some lint from the wash dryer, I've got some egg box cardboard. Okay, so that's the one lot, and then you need some green stuff to be layering. Okay, so I've got some tea bags, some grass clippings, banana, and some green stuff, and some eggshells that you've crushed up quite finely, okay, and then a little bit of water. So that's about a cup of water, but you might not use it all. Okay, so to start off with, you need to cut a lid in the bottle. So you take the screw-on lid off and you squash it down. Now, if you're not good at using scissors, then ask an adult to help you. Okay, so squash it down a bit like that, and now you cut it round. Don't cut it all the way, you're just cutting enough so you've got a lid like this. Okay, so that lid means that you're going to be able to put your stuff in here, and don't forget to keep the bottle top. So you've cut your lid. Let's turn this around this way. And now you're ready to start. Okay, so first of all, you're going to put a bit of soil in. Now, I'm very lucky because this soil comes from my compost bin. Okay, but you can use any soil, or if you haven't got a compost bin, you could ask a friend or a neighbour, a relation, anybody like that who might have some for you. Now, the great thing about having a compost bin to do this from it is that there'll be loads of different bacteria and microbes, but also, hopefully, some lovely compost eating worms. So you see Mr. Worm? So he's going to go in, and I think he's got a friend somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to put that all in. Okay, so that's a bit of coarse compost going in there now. Okay, so then I'm going to put some green stuff in. So I'm going to put some grass clippings. Now, don't put too much. So this is like making a lasagna or a trifle or something like that. So you're putting stuff in layers, and doing it in layers like this helps it to rot down faster. So a bit of green stuff and some of that banana skin. Okay, so that's gone in. Right, then what I'm going to do is put some of those crushed eggshells on the top, and then put some more compost in. Okay, or more soil in. Okay, more soil. Then I'm going to add some brown stuff. So I'm going to put some scrunched up paper. Now, if you're using paper, just make sure it's not the shiny stuff. It doesn't matter if it's got coloured print on, like newspaper, but not the shiny stuff, okay? I'm going to put some of the cat fur in. And a couple of twigs. Just break everything up quite small because this is going to go, you want it to go quite quickly, and a bit of egg box in. Okay, some more soil on top. So I say, you're doing it in layers. Now, the thing about compost, as you may have seen in the activity sheets, is compost isn't soil. Compost is made from all the good things that are rotting down. Okay, so I'm putting tea bag in there. And compost helps to make the soil better. And it also helps to protect the soil. So we were talking about the seasons. So in the winter, when it's really cold, if you have compost in the soil, it helps to protect the soil from getting too wet from the rain. It also helps the soil to stop from freezing over. You see I'm adding more green stuff here. Okay, so that way it protects the soil. In summer, when it's really hot, it helps to protect the soil from drying out when it's really baking hot. And it helps protect the rain, because instead of the rain washing away the soil, the compost helps the soil to absorb the rain and the water, so it goes down to the plants. So if you've got healthy soil with compost in, you will then have healthy plants. So that is how it works. Now, the other great thing about compost is that you're recycling everything. All this stuff that could be going in the bin is now going to be recycled. It's being eaten by the worms, and in return you're getting lovely, fabulous compost to make your plants grow. I mean, it's just incredible. So even if you haven't got a large garden where you can do composting, or you can get a bin or something, this way you can see what it's like to be composting and learn about what makes the soil healthy. Okay, so I put this last layer on here. Now, can you see how we've got all these different layers here? Okay, so that's the nice thing about having it clear, so you can see what's going on. Now I'm going to put water in. Now I know it says on the sheet to do a cup of water, but you may want more, you may want less. It depends how dry the soil is, depends how much brown stuff you've put in, and it also depends how much the green stuff, how dry the green stuff is. So you keep checking as you're putting the water in. And you could use a stick to just poke it down a bit. Now this looks like it's pretty dry because of the green stuff, so I'm going to put all of the green stuff in, the water in. Now you do need to just maybe make sure that you're checking this from time to time to see whether it needs a bit more water, because if it gets too dry it's not going to rot very well. Okay, so you've got that. Now what you're going to do now is take up the lid again, because the lid, it needs to not have too much air going into it, because what it does is it starts a sort of cooking process, and if you've got too much air, then the air interferes with it. So what you should see after a day or two is that the plastic here gets all steamed up, as there's a little bit of heat going on in there. Okay. So you've done that. Now you can put the lid on. Now if you think it's getting too steamy, then you can just take the lid off for a little bit, and then also obviously the lid you can use to put in a bit more water if you need to. Right, then, because this is a special science experiment, you need to mark where you started, and then you put today's date. So 14th of the 7th. So you put the date on. so that you know that after about 2 weeks you're going to be checking it to see. And then you put it in a sunny place and watch the magic happen. Okay, so that's really exciting. Now, I've got one here that I did about 2 weeks ago. Now you can see, if you look here, that the level which was here by the green has dropped about that much, and you can see that things have started to be rotting down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and we're going to have a look to see how it's all been going. So this is the exciting bit, really. I just have to take all this tape off. Right, so now this one, I think I put a little bit too much water in. So you can see how it is actually quite wet, which is not necessarily, that's why I said to you about being careful. Now as you look here through, you can see that some of the stuff has rotted down. I don't see my banana skin anymore, but some of the stuff has not. So I'm giving it a good stir around, and oh, there's my banana skin, which has started to rot. And then I'm going to put it all back in again. Okay, so that can stay in there for a bit longer. I'm going to mix some more dry soil with it, just to help that. And then I'm going to put that all back in. Okay, so I'll carry on doing that in a minute. But I wanted to show you how this is going to work when you've finished, when your compost is finished. Okay, so after 3 or 4 weeks, or 2 to 3 weeks depending, you can then, you're not going to get it rotting down into like soil like you get from the thing, but you can see here that there's still chunks in that, but it all looks really quite nice. I mean, there's a bit of egg shells and some other bits and pieces, but that's fine. There's not a problem with that. So what you're going to do is, now imagine that I'd use this container to do the composting. Okay, so now it's full of the compost that you've made. So what you now do is you cut the lid off, and then you cut some holes in the bottom. Just squish the plastic and get an adult to do this for you if you need to. And cut some holes in the bottom so the water can now escape. And you're going to put all this soil in. So imagine that is your compost that you have made yourself. How exciting. So that's what it's going to look like in the end. Okay, so that's it all there, all ready to go. And then you can get a plant, or you can plant some of your sunflower seeds or anything like that in the pot. So it works out amazing. Now I've got this sad looking tomato plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it very happy by planting it in there. So therefore it's got lovely fresh compost, and it's going to be a lot happier in there and grow and give me some tomatoes. Okay, brilliant, thank you. Now I'd like you to post some pictures on Facebook, or get mom or dad to do it, or an adult to do it for you, of your compost bottle that you've made, and also not to forget to post it in a few weeks to show us the progress on it. Okay, thank you, bye bye.